when the night is come, and all the land is dark, and the moon is the only light you ever see. No, I won't be afraid. No, I won't shed a single tear. Just as long as you stand by.
All right, legends, welcome back to Who Is Your Hero? If you listen to part one, you already know this isn't some glossy look at me comeback story. This is the real stuff that people don't post. The stuff that happens when the lights are off, the phone's dead, and you're quietly wondering, am I even coming back from this? Because part two is where it gets heavier. It's where it gets honest. And I'll warn you now, I got a bit wobbly in this one. Dane takes us right into that season of life where depression didn't look like sadness. It looked like sleeping out 18 hours a day, thinking you got cancer, thinking your body's cooked, then realising it's not your body, it's your mind screaming at you for flipping help. We talk about labels, we talk about getting handed meds like they're lollies and being told, that's you now, mate, you're depressed. And we talk about the slippery slope, where a weekend turns into habit, and that habit turns into 5 years disappearing. And then we go to the moment that still gives me flipping goosebumps. A bloke sitting on a rooftop car park in Chapel Street, starving, homeless, hooked, possessions in a bag, and some dark thoughts rolling in. And then a young fella walks past and somehow he vanishes. Was it real? Was it the drugs? Was it a guardian angel? I don't know, but what I do know is this. What saved Dane wasn't a miracle cure. It was one person. One person who didn't lecture him, didn't shame him, didn't say you've ruined the family name. His mum just said, if you want to start again, my house is open. And mate, that's where the tears started creeping in for me, and they're doing it again. Because we don't talk about heroes being the bloke who overcomes it, and we should, but we don't talk enough about the unsung heroes, their supporters, the parents, the quiet believers, the ones who hold the line when you can't hold it yourself. So if you're listening right now and you're in that hole, or someone you love is in that hole, this episode is proof that rock bottom isn't the end. Sometimes it's a place you finally stop digging. Someone throws you a rope. All right, take a deep breath. This is part two of the Dane Miller story, Pottsville, where the tough bloke stuff drops away and the truth shows up. Let's get into it. Let's roll the tape from where we left off.
Pretty much, man. Like I went from basically nothing to like full on. Like, I mean, I was drinking and stuff, and so I moved to Melbourne when I was 28. I came off cruise ships, working on cruise ships, and it wasn't really happening for me still up here. I ended up, living and working with a mate up in Brisbane for 6 months, and the company I was working for had a sales job open up down in Melbourne, which I just put in my resume and ended up going down there. I literally only knew one person in Melbourne at that time. So I packed up my life and went down there, and I was just living and working down there. But I fell into like really, really chronic depression for my first few years down in Melbourne, like just sort of loneliness and stuff, and not really having like a friendship circle of my own, and my own real identity down there after coming off cruise ships. So I thought I was crook. Like I thought I had some cancer or something, and I was sleeping about sort of 18 hours a day. And my uncle actually sort of saw the signs, and he invited me over to Sydney for a weekend, and had a chat with a friend of his who's a very well renowned doctor in Sydney. And sat down with her for a couple of hours on the couch and talked away while he went to the driving range, and she just diagnosed me there and then, with chronic depression and all of those physical symptoms that I had of, sleeping 18 hours a day and really struggling to get up for work and stuff, was all part and parcel of that. So, I thought I had something physically wrong with me, but it was literally depression. Anyway, so I got on antidepressants for a number of years, which, look, I wouldn't recommend people doing now in hindsight. It takes away the high highs and your low lows, so you do feel kind of numb. But I was on there for about 5 or 6 years.
Sorry to sneak in here, but Carly and I, James, and even Kim Daly in the latest podcast have talked about labeling, whereas you got labeled as something. So you got given drugs by the doctor.
Yeah,
You're labeled now. You're depressed. Now, people can spend the rest of their life with the doctor said it's right. You just label me with something and put me on drugs. That's where I'm going to be. And we've been really discussing this deeply on Who Is Your Hero about being labeled. Now, I got labeled years back and they put me on Dexies.
Yep. Okay.
Now, Dexy, and they explain them to you. And they can either send you on a fucking massive high or mellow you. Well, they slowed me right down and I went on it for a month or 2 months and I went back to the doctor. I said, fuck you. What are you trying to do to me?
Yeah.
You're taking my personality off you. I haven't got this, I haven't got that. And I fought my flipping way out of it, bro. It was terrible because I didn't know I was different, but I know I am different now to a lot of the world. And do you know what? I'm fucking happy being different.
Yeah, absolutely, bro. Yeah. I'm the same.
Trying to say, but they tried to drag me down, and we won't go. And maybe we could talk your ears off to plenty more podcasts, and we will do. But I believe they're trying to diagnose a male or female pretty fucking quickly so they can control us. But anyway,
Of course, man. 100%, bro. 100%.
That's only a tinfoil fucking hat thing, conspiracy theory shit.
Listen, that tinfoil hat hasn't been wrong too many times in the last 5 or 6 years, has it, though?
No, there's not many things that have come up that I've said, you said, Dave said, whoever said. They're pretty well running on prediction.
I think the score tally's around about 250 to zip.
Yeah, but isn't it interesting that we don't keep score because we know that they're keeping score? Like,
I know, but
anyway, so you've gone at what age? You're saying 35 to 38.
so that was
The drug scene, no?
So that was like all that happened. Like I moved to Melbourne when I was 28, and probably my first few years I was sort of just in that phase of just working and so forth. I ended up moving in. My brother ended up coming off cruise ships and moving down to Melbourne too, and I moved in with him and another friend and that was probably for a few years. We were living out in the inner west of Melbourne. And, cocaine became a thing, going to the local pub sort of an afternoon, like on Fridays and Saturdays. And, we probably started, having coke every weekend as well. And that was probably pretty much an every weekend thing or most weekends for a good few years. And then, somewhere along the line, I had the ice put in front of me and, yeah. And everything went downhill from there. So, yeah, that would have been probably about 30, 38 or 39, I'd say.
Fuck me, I've lost a couple of good mates to ice. Seriously, like really good mates. But so that was, I've got some questions here I'm going to keep firing at you, sort of answering in things. And then I had a question here. Did you realize you were in deep, or did that ice doesn't creep up slowly, does it? It just gets you to a state you're in.
You know what? It's insidious. It creeps up on you very, very sneakily, to the point where it's, I don't know. It's hard to describe. It becomes very easy to become a habitual daily thing. Because it's that serotonin rush or whatever it does, to your brain of just making everything feel sort of numb, but good,
Yeah.
So it didn't take long to go from a weekend thing to an everyday thing. And for me that, went very, very quickly into that. And yeah, Jesus, it doesn't take long before it starts taking everything from him. I mean, money, friendships, relationships, everything, bro. Yeah.
Yeah, I was, I don't know how lucky I was, but I dodged that bullet. I don't know how, because I was mucking around with pretty much all that shit, but I never did it. I never dodged a bullet. And probably I was doing some speed or coke back then that I reckon they started to put the ice into. I don't know if they cut the with it, but something or someone was looking after me. Now, you did mention there, which is quite interesting. So you said it started taking relationships away from you, peace. Did your mum see this happening to you?
No, see, this is the thing. Like, I was obviously embarrassed by it. Like, I figured out pretty early on that I'd become hooked on it. And you obviously sort of play the denial game on that for as long as you can before it becomes pretty obvious to those, you know, who have known you before that.
Yep.
And then I basically disappeared. Yeah, I sort of disappeared for about 5 years. I fell into that life pretty hard, using and dealing, you know, to maintain my own habit and stuff. But I essentially disappeared from everyone that I knew and from that previous life for 5 years, and was just hotel hopping for about 5 years. So it went pretty rapidly from being, everyday Dane to like, where's he going? Like, and literally my family probably didn't know whether I was alive or dead for the bulk of that 5 years.
So was there a really low moment, and I'm now digressing out of the addiction into, you know, fucking, I've got to change my life shit because I'm going to die if I keep doing this. What do you reckon? It's a pretty hard question. You don't have to answer it, but what was the lowest moment you remember thinking, how the fuck did I get here?
Lowest moment was when, so I went from being pretty comfortable for the bulk of those 5 years in doing that as a source of income and to support my own habit and stuff, to when all the lockdowns and stuff happened, within about 9 to 10 months, I went from being very comfortable to being homeless. And when I say homeless, I mean like sleeping rough and you know, couch surfing on, you know, customers' couches and stuff. So
Yeah.
lowest moment for me would have probably been sitting on a friggin' rooftop, a rooftop car park on Chapel Street up towards the South Yarra end. Just there was a little section where the air cons were, and it was maybe about a 2-meter little concrete ledge that ran sort of for the length of the car park, or that's where the air conditioning units were housed. Sitting on there and in between some of these aircon units, and just thinking, with everything that I had still in my bags, that's it, my possessions. I had nowhere to go. I was starving, still hooked on drugs. And it's funny, man. I don't think I've shared this with anyone, but I had a weird moment. I was sitting there, and I swear there's a young guy walked past me. And this probably would have been 10 or 11 in the morning. So, you know, and I was just sitting there contemplating my life, going, how have I come to this? This young bloke walked past me. And to this day, man, I don't know if that was an actual guy or that was some freaking guardian angel or something or other, man. But I was having some pretty dark thoughts at that time. Anyway, I went, and before I walked back around from that ledge back down to the car park to, you know, probably try and find somewhere to go and eat or whatever, I poked my head around and tried to look for that guy. And I couldn't find him. And the only way in or out of that ledge of that sort of car, that little section where the aircon units were, was to go past me, because there was like a little gate. And so I poked my head around and tried to look for him, and he wasn't there. So I don't know if I saw something or other, or that day or whatever, man, but yeah.
That person went one way and couldn't get out unless it passed you again. Is that
Correct. Yeah.
right?
Yeah. And I still to this day cannot figure out if that was like an actual person that I saw, or if that was some spirit or something, mate. But
Was that the moment you said you were done, or did you carry on a bit more from there?
I carried on a bit more, but that was pretty close to the end of it. That's when I'd sort of hit rock bottom. I was so hungry. Like, I was literally, man, I'd gone from living very comfortably to, you know, I'd walk around at nighttime in the Melbourne CBD, and, you know, till 3, 4, 5 in the morning, you know, in car parks, just hoping someone had, you know, a $20 note had slipped out of their pocket when they'd gotten into their car after night clubbing or something. So that's how bad it got, bro. So,
Right, so you've got to this point, and I've got the next question. Why Pottsville? And it's probably pretty obvious to me, but not our listeners, that your mum was at Pottsville. Is that correct?
yes. Yep. Yeah, mum's been here for about 20 odd years.
So how hard was? Obviously, this is where you're making peace. How did you pick up the phone and ring mum at this stage, or did you have someone else that pulled you out of it? Because this is where people go, I'm fucked, I'm going to end my life, or something inside you said, yeah, I'm fucked, but I want to stay another day.
Yeah, it was pretty 50-50 there for a while. I mean, I never physically tried to do anything to myself, but, like I had some really, really dark times of thinking, the world would be probably better off without me type thing. Yeah, at that time, my mum, younger brother was coming down to Melbourne or something, and he reached out to me, and, I was still in that sort of mentality of, you know, asking people for money rather than actual help type thing, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And, anyway, yeah, I'm not sure. It's a bit of a blur, to be honest with you, man. Like, a lot of those years are a bit of a blur as far as timelines.
So did you ring mum, or the brother reached out to you?
I can't actually remember the sequence of events exactly how it happened, but what did happen was my mum ended up coming down to Melbourne, got a hotel, which ironically was about 3 or 4 doors down from where a friend of mine was living that I was surfing on his couch at that time.
Yeah.
And I think she booked 4 days for herself and got a room in the same place for me for 4 nights, and didn't put any pressure on me. Just wanted to know that I was alive and okay. And I think after, a couple of days sort of saying that, I was pretty much at rock bottom, she just said, like, if you want to start your life again, my house is open to you. And, I think she could see that I wasn't some junkie that was, ripping people off and stealing and, that kind of mentality.
If you could say it, it's probably not around. I mean, I've got a bit.
You're
I've
right.
been tearing in my eye at the moment, but anyway, yeah. So she saw the good side of you.
Yes. Yeah. She saw that, that I hadn't totally turned dark and evil and all that sort of stuff. So,
And probably in some way, but it's hard to call you. You're a good junkie.
I did, bro. Like I did. I never stole from anyone. I never robbed anyone. I never hurt anyone. All I did was just try and keep my head above water for myself. And, at that part of that was obviously, dealing as well and blah, blah, blah. And, but I never sought out, new business and that sort of thing. I did bare minimum just to keep myself alive and keep myself comfortable. And, I never, if people come to me and said, "Oh, look, I'm going to rehab, don't sell to me anymore," blah, 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 I wouldn't, and I'd honor that, you know what I mean? So I still had the integrity there as far as that went. But,
You're bloody sharp. Mother's a flipping hero, bro.
oh, bro,
Hey,
I shudder to think where I'd be now if I hadn't had that opportunity, man. Like,
yeah, and I've seen the relationship you've got with her now, like firsthand. It's she goes fishing with you, eh? And we have some magnificent chaps that just heals. Yeah, it's just incredible, and it sort of goes on to how important it is just having someone, one person, right? And my parents, I'm gonna put my late mother and my dad through a hell of a lot of shit, but to have to the listeners here is just having that one person there. It doesn't have to be family. It doesn't have to be associated. It's just that one person that believe in you.
bro, you took the words out of my mouth there, man.
That you don't believe in yourself.
Because that's exactly where I was. That moment you were asking me about before, that's exactly where I was for, months and months and months towards the end of my time there. And literally my mum sort of said to me when I'd made the decision, yeah, I'll come up and start my life again. She's like, well, what do we want to do about like rehab? And I just said, listen, I've had customers go in and out of rehab for the last 4 or 5 years, and they come out worse than what they were when they went in, because they trauma bond and they want to start, smuggling things into their rehab facilities. I just said to her, look, you took the words out of my mouth, bro. I just said to mum, I just needed one person to believe in me, and then I can do this, and that was her, so I didn't go to rehab or anything when I came up here. I did it myself. I come up and I reckon I slept for probably the bulk of when I say the bog, I'd probably say 95% of the first week and a half. Because I hadn't had a day off that drug in 5 years, man. Literally not one day off it.
It's when you just moved to Pottsville and went cold turkey.
Cold turkey after being on it for 5 years straight without a day off.
And that's superhero shit, mate. But as you say, you couldn't have done it without your mum.
No, absolutely. And, fuck knows, it must have been so hard for her, dude. Like,
Yeah, and I think we've got to pay attention to, I'm looking very hard on this podcast at people like you have changed circumstances by choice and courage and heroism. But we've really got to look into the people like this one person that saved you. And they need some kudos too, because your mother will never look at getting a medal for doing what she's done because, crikey, she's your mother. But the angst we put on like ex-army people coming back from tours of Iraq and they've got to come back to their wife and family. I mean, that family's got to do a lot too, eh?
yeah, it's a support network, man. They're like the unsung heroes that never get a mention, So
Yeah, but we're talking family that saved you, but there's a lot of people in this situation listening right now that haven't got family, and all you need to do is find someone you can fucking trust.
dude, there's not a day goes by where I don't think of that and realize how lucky I am that I had that person that gave me that opportunity, because I know, I still know people who were probably in that life and stuff who never had that one person to just believe in them or give them that opportunity to start afresh,
Yeah, that's quite crazy.
As that sort of, unfortunately, that sort of leads into, I'm not sure if you got a chance to interview Alan or not, but
We're heading there. It's just trying to catch him.
that's sort of how I started following his cause, mate, because unfortunately that's where a lot of this can lead, is still on that path of self-harm if people have got lost all hope. So yeah, I think that's why now I wanted to do it for a long time, bro, but sort of go into that, counseling side of things, just the lived experience. But yeah, just
All right, Townsville, listen up. Let's have a short break and talking about if you're thinking about cooking this week, don't. Rob and Katie at the Australian Hotel have already done the hard work. This is how the week rolls. Smash burger, crispy chips, pot of beer, Monday night, $20. Tuesdays, 400-gram rump, chip salad gravy, $20. 400 grams, that's not a snack, that's a damn commitment. Wednesday, $19, pot and palmy. Midweek sorted. Hump day's gone. Thursday, steak, sanger and chips, $15. Tradies, office crew, and anyone with taste buds, that's your lunch and dinner sorted. And Friday, the 50-cent wing ding special. Yes, 50 cents a wing, 6 flavors. Bring you back up. And if you stay long enough, I think you can shuck some oysters. Not the other thing, you can shuck them after 4 to 5 o'clock, I think. Sunday, Irish spice bag and a pint of Guinness just to get rid of the Saturday night, maybe hungover sort of thing. $30, that's a comfortable food done properly. Rob and Katie just aren't running specials. They're keeping Townsville fed without smashing the wallet. So get to the Aussie Hotel, support local legends, grab your mates and tell them Buzz sent ya. Australian Hotel, mates looking after mates. And don't forget, punters, hero up. So I'm going to keep this moving on.
yeah, bro, yeah.
So if we're going to cry about something now, because I've just had to wipe my eyes, you bastard, you got me. But I'm the sort of bloke that cries at a Hertz going past, and I don't even know who's in the coffin. You know what I mean? That's me. There's some family. So what does a normal day look like now for Dane?
Normal day for me. All right. Well, a normal day for me for most of the year is to probably get up at about 5:30. And go for a fish. I love my fishing. Like fishing's a big part of like why I stay.
After you fish,
I fish, bro. Well, it was a big part of my recovery. As you know, I started painting as well, but fishing and painting, especially in those first sort of 12, 18 months, I needed something to fill my time and my space that was, you get a lot of reflective time as well when you're fishing. Just being close to the ocean. But so yeah, I'm normally up at 5:30 most mornings. I'll go for a fish, and depending on the work day, I'll just sort of fish for an hour. At the moment, I'm working up at Cabra at a resort hotel, so I haven't really been able to fish at the mornings lately.
Yeah.
But I've just sort of swapped out fishing with studies at the moment. But it'll be normally go fishing, come back, have a breakfast, go to work, maybe do a bit of a workout before work in the park. Physical health is pretty important, obviously, as far as the mental health side of things goes as well. I think they're pretty handy as there. Yeah, working, and then depending on the day, maybe go for a fish at night too, or maybe out for a fish on the weekend on my mate's boat. But it's a pretty tame life these days, man. It's just working, fishing, chilling out with family. I don't drink, as you know, so I don't go to a pub and drink or anything. And
That's that for me. Like, I was a pretty big drinker. And by the time he met me, I may have done some little bit of coke on and off on weekends if I was down in Byron. But I was smoking a packet and a half cigarettes a day.
yeah, same.
Yeah, I mean, I took me a massive health scare and I have a beer every now and then.
Yep.
If it suits me, or I'll have a water if I'm out now. Like, it's fucking crazy. I've been on the piss since I was 14.
Yep.
But I disband the cigarettes. I have not had a cigarette since I got diagnosed. And
Good on you, bro.
fair income, the less, well, it took me to say live or die, and that's disgusting. I should have done it well before it. But the less fogginess in my brain and be able to, like, there's no way I could sit here talking to you on a podcast to 300,000 people on episode 47 with the clarity and the gratitude I've got to all my listeners. Like, imagine me 3 years ago, and I would have been this blunt old fuck pisshead bastard. You know what I mean?
You're a bit more refined than what you were, for sure.
Yeah, but I'm still the same, but I'm just understanding it so much better. And I'm not saying everyone get off the piss. I would say get off the cigarettes, because that's what probably caused my kidney disease. They're just no good. And we're buying the cheapest packets we could buy in the end, probably by design too. But I'm just listening to you talk about, you were predominantly off the alcohol the whole time I met you.
Yep. I'm 5 weeks off the cigarettes now too.
Yeah, and it's amazing the clarity you get out of these toxins these governments are trying to give us to bring us down. I mean, I'm going right off of here, but do you know there was $2.8 billion in beer tax we paid at the punter?
Yeah, I saw that.
Did you see that meme?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
But our mining and our assets, we're just getting ripped off. But anyway, it's another way I can talk to. I'm blue in the face with you. Shit. And there's a lot of people listening to us that understand it, but are they ready for it now? I don't know. But so, do you ever still fight your old thinking patterns?
Not really, man. No, to be honest with you, I keep myself busy.
Yeah.
I think a lot of those old patterns were just from sort of like, negative self-talk and, being in a bit of pity party headspace, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but you got a lot of self-worth now, and
Yeah.
can't beat worth, can you?
No, absolutely, man. 100%. Yeah. If you haven't got that, then you haven't got a foundation. You gotta have some self-love and self-respect and self-worth. Otherwise people or life will just walk all over you,
Absolutely. And that's where I go back to my 4 pillars now. And I'll say it again because I want people to learn it. Is your health first, and then your worth, and your why, then your wealth. And your wealth isn't financial when you get to a stage. I'm not quite there yet. I'm like you, brother. I'm 2 or 3 steps up, and probably the only person to get me there is Gaza. But I'm too fucking scared at the moment.
Nothing to fear but fear itself, bro.
Anyway, we're going to wrap this up, bro. We've got a few more. This has been a treat, and I knew it would go this way. I mean, I've been thinking about bringing you on for a while, but
Yeah, bro.
you want to go listen to my first interviews, and they're fucking shit. But guess what? We got listeners, and probably maybe it made someone stay. I'm getting better at this, and I'm loving it. So we're going to wind it up. Probably got 5 or 10 minutes to go. It'll be 2 sessions, part 1 and part 2, because we're gone over the hour.
Yeah.
What would you say to a 16-year-old version of yourself right now?
Cool. What a question.
Well, I do have some big ones coming up for you.
That's a good one. What would I say to myself?
Just love all. I just say everyone love all and be grateful, but that's a pretty throwaway line, isn't it, when you're 16?
What I would the biggest thing I'd say to a 16-year-old version of myself would be, do what makes you happy and fuck what everybody else thinks, and fuck trying to please people who they'll come and go in your life in the drop of a hat. Yeah. Do
I think
Yeah, do what makes you happy and stop trying to fucking please people that probably mean very little or nothing in the scheme of your life.
Yeah, and it's the fact that at that age you wanted to be impressionable
Expected and yeah,
and liked, so you'd do some real, you thought do some real silly shit. Well, I probably wasn't one, but I've seen it. But you know what? From as a 16-year-old kid now, do you know there's no one apart from my family, obviously and siblings. There's no one in my life that when I was 16.
no, I don't either, bro. 100%. Exactly what I'm saying. Like, yeah,
Yeah, so they're gonna test you out to teach you those people, but don't give them the energy you need to give it to love the people that as much that love you as you love them.
exactly. And the old adage is true. Like, I mean, if you go through your life, I mean, if you can count your friends on one hand, you're doing pretty well. Like
I mean, we've heard it from our fathers, stepfathers, mentors the whole time, but it only becomes real right now, doesn't it?
it does, bro. Like, what do they say? Like, what do they call them? Old quotes like that. What do you call them? No, not stereotypes. What's
Oh, you're gonna say you're as bad as me.
Yeah, that's all right. No, a little bit of brain fog there. Like old sayings that people have been saying forever and a day. They're that for a reason because they're true. Like
Yeah, don't reinvent the wheel.
no, exactly.
Just do what's good and tie it into your brand identity because your brand is you.
Exactly.
Couple more questions. What does real strength actually look like now for you? Where do you find your strength?
Um, just independence and authenticity, man. Like just being comfortable in my own skin and not needing to seek other people's acceptance and approval. Happy to walk my own path. I really found that about myself, during the lockdown time in Melbourne. As you know, I was one of the people who didn't sort of comply with all the government tyranny and stuff, and that sort of gave me a lot of self-worth and strength as well, just to not pander to the crowd and to pander to popular opinion and stuff. So that's what strength looks like to me, is just trusting your intuition and just having the strength to walk your own path, even if it is alone.
Yeah, so really winding it up now, and it's probably a rhetorical question. I know the answer, but who helped you become the bloke sitting right where you're sitting today?
Oh, right. My mum, absolutely. Yeah. I took a lot of personality traits from my stepdad as well. I sort of realized that after a few years of reflection in recent years as well. But yeah, my mum and my grandma, man, like they've obviously been pretty instrumental in my life. Yeah, definitely. Obviously, my mum in recent years, man, like I wouldn't have a clue where I'd be now if it wasn't for her. So that's the obvious
So,
one.
so this story to me about my listeners, why I'm doing this show, it's a question it's quite humbling. There's two parts to this one, but what does a hero actually mean to you now? Because we thought they were superheroes and
Yeah.
fascist people on the television, all that when we were younger, because by design they tried to make it, but that's not a hero.
Yeah, like idol worship almost. Yeah. No, it's definitely not.
From me to you, you are a fucking real hero in my eyes.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate that, man. Fucking you too, dude. It's fucking you beat cheated death. Not many people can say that. So
Yeah, well, it's not bad in the resume, but you're and you live life a bit differently. That you got a second chance, but
absolutely.
yeah, it's pretty amazing. It tears me up, and I'm going to ask you one last question before I go to the outro. But who's your hero, Dane?
My hero. I knew you were going to ask me this actually.
It fixes everyone.
You know what, bro? Like, to be honest with you, man, I'm proud of myself. Finally,
Love it.
I'm proud of myself. So, and I remember from the early days when you were talking about doing this a couple of years ago. It was that looking in the mirror thing. I was just literally thinking about it today, the Savi, and I'm like, you know what? That's what it is. I'm finally. It's being able to look in the mirror and be proud of who you see looking back at you.
I fucking love that answer, mate, because that's why I'm doing here. Who is your hero? Because I believe that there's a hero within every person. You've just got to find it. And you know what, brother? It can go away for a while. You can go to some dark steps. I mean, I interviewed Sam Childers, the machine gun preacher in Sudan about 4 episodes ago. I'm going, holy fuck, how am I talking to this guy? But he said in it, he said, you're going to be borrowed to the devil for a while. Because
Yeah.
if the devil doesn't take hold of him, you don't learn from him, you can't come out the other side and do God's work.
Absolutely. Yeah, 100%, bro.
And this
100%.
is Sam Childers, and he's a preacher, and he's probably into a God a little bit more than I am. But I am into it now. Do you know what I mean? And he goes, you got to live with the devil for a while. And he's fucking getting passionate about it.
Well, that's like Mike Tyson was saying to that Francis Ngannou guy. Like, he's like, you're chosen by God. And the old mate's like nodding his head, thinking, yeah. He goes, but you're also chosen by the devil too. He goes, you got to go home with who brought you to the dance, and you could see her. Have you ever seen that interview with Mike Tyson?
I have. Who took you to the dance?
Exactly, man. Exactly.
And Sam says there's a lot of things that God wants you to do. You say in your mind are too hard to do because the devil's got more fun.
I've seen a few videos and it's just there's a recurring theme is that I don't think that God tests you in things that you can't overcome. Like people will ask for things when they pray or whatever, and it's instead of giving it to them, that God will give you the opportunity to learn how to get it for yourself. He'll never sort of put something in front of you that you're not actually physically capable of overcoming. Do you know what I mean? So
no, but it looks too big for you.
Yeah, of course, but that's the test of faith, though. Like, is going, okay. The easy way out is to just ask for something and you get it given to you, but to actually have to struggle and fight for it, or to overcome some adversity to get it, to be tested, to be put through the fire. That's when sort of your worth and you.
Yeah, it's quite incredible, and the less foggy you are, and I'm not saying to everyone here to get off the piss or anything like that, because you got to find that out yourself. And I think it's one reason I survived pretty good was my father. I'm my own hero now, but Dad's played a big part of that because one, he was never judgmental. He knew when he could pick me up, and he never belted my ass for fucking up.
Yep.
We said, how the hell are we going to get out of this one? And that, I talk about my father like you talk about your mother, and he never did it with judgmental, and he knew I was fucked up and doing the right thing. And the beauty of it, mate, I've just spent a week with him down in Melbourne.
Yep.
And we sat and watched Tipping Point. He's on a Zimmer frame now and running around the house. And we got him his favourite Chinese, and we had fish and chips on a Friday night. And he's having a red wine or a beer, and I'm saying, no, thanks. And he's going, what the fuck? Do you know what I mean? He said, I never thought I'd see this day in my life that you're not having a beer with me.
Yeah.
And it was quite amazing. I'm going to wrap this episode up, Dane.
Cool, brother.
Just with an outro here. And there you have it, legends. Not a fairy tale, not a Hollywood ending. Just a bloke who looked at the road he was on and decided it wasn't where he wanted to finish. Walking away from that life isn't one decision. It's 1,000 little ones. Every day choosing different, every day backing yourself, every day proving that your past doesn't get to write your future. And listeners, don't let anyone take the pen off you and write your story. Dane's story is a reminder that people don't just need saving. Sometimes they just need space, support, and someone that hasn't given up on them. And for a lot of us, that hero is often standing quietly beside us as a mum, as a partner, and as a mate. So if this episode made you think about someone, give them a fucking call. If you're battling, know that starting again is messy, uncomfortable, and absolutely possible. This is what Who Is Your Hero is all about. Real people, real turns, real second chances. Until next time, look after your mates, look after yourself. And remember, being a hero doesn't mean being perfect. It means having a fair dinkum crack at being a better person. Hero up. Dano, thank you so much for coming on Who Is a Hero and telling me and our listeners your story opening. Please look after yourself, buddy.
Thank you, brother.
We'll catch up soon, eh?
Cheers, bro.
Thank you.
When the night has come, and all the land is dark, and the moon is the only light you ever see. No, I won't be afraid. No, I won't shed a single tear.